Hi and welcome. In this video we're going to explore how respiration works in different groups of animals. So we have just one learning goal for today. You can describe how gas exchange occurs in unicellular animals or single-celled animals, insects, fish and birds. So in unicellular animals or single-celled organisms, respiration takes place through the cell membrane, and these organisms just consist of one cell, so they don't have special organs to take in oxygen. Now, the surface of the cell membrane of these single-celled organisms is large enough for gas exchange, and this allows the unicellular or single-celled organisms to easily absorb oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Now, let's look at how insects breathe. And to understand that, let's first think about how humans take in oxygen. In humans, oxygen is absorbed into the blood and the blood vessels transport it throughout the body. But the blood containing the oxygen stays inside those blood vessels. Insects don't have blood vessels, so imagine their organs floating in the kind of body fluid. And in insects, this fluid isn't called blood, it is called hemolymph. They do have a kind of heart which help move the hemolymph around so nutrients and oxygen can reach the organs more easily, but it works different than with humans. So insects have a completely different way of breathing, and insects have trachea, and those are branches of tubes that carry air throughout the body. Now you can see them here in the middle, and these tubes make sure oxygen reaches every part of the insect. The spiracles, you see them here, are small openings that let air flow into the trachea. And there are several of these openings along the insect's body, and that means insects don't breathe through their mouth, but through these spiracles. In many insect species, these spiracles are mostly found in the abdomen. That's this part here. And these insects make a pumping movement with their abdomen to refresh the air inside the trachea. And you can easily see that in wasps, their abdomens constantly move up and down and up and down, and that movement helps them bring in fresh oxygen and remove carbon dioxide. This means that in many insects like wasps, most of the gas exchange happens in the abdomen. Then fish. Fish use gills to breathe, and you can find them just behind the head, inside the gill cavity. There's oxygen dissolved in water, and fish can absorb that oxygen through their gills. Now, let's take a closer look at how gills work. The gills are, the gill cavities are covered by gill flaps, also called opercula. You can see them here. A gill consists of a gill arch with lots of gill laminae attached to it, and that's what you see here. So this is the fish's mouth. Water flows in through the mouth, passes over the gills, and then flows out again. There are many thin blood vessels inside the gill lamellae, and because their walls are very thin, gas exchange happens very quickly. Altogether, the gill lamellae have a very large surface area, which allows a lot of gas exchange and lots of oxygen to be absorbed from the water and carbon dioxide to be released. Finally, let's look at respiration in birds. Birds have lungs with air sacs, and this is kind of a strange part. The lungs themselves don't get bigger or smaller, but the air sacs do. So here are the lungs, and around them are the air sacs. So how do birds breathe? Now, this is a simplified diagram of the lungs and air sacs, and not all air sacs are shown here, just to keep it simple. This is right after the bird has inhaled. Fresh air, rich in oxygen, moves through the windpipe into the rear air sacs. At the same time, air from the lungs moves into the front air sacs. And in that air, most of the oxygen has already been absorbed into the blood, so it's rich in carbon dioxide. Now that's already quite different from how humans breathe. Now comes exhalation. Both the front and the rear air sacs contract. The lungs themselves stay in the same size. From the rear air sacs, oxygen-rich air is pushed into the lungs, while from the front air sacs, carbon dioxide-rich air is pushed out through the windpipe and exhaled. Now, let's quickly summarize. So, when a bird breathes in, all the air sacs expand. Fresh air flows in through the windpipe into the air sacs at the back, while air flows through the lungs into the front air sacs. During exhalation, air flows out of the front air sacs and out through the windpipe, while air from the back air sacs flows into the lungs. So there's always oxygenated air passing the blood vessels in the lungs, and that's why gas exchange in birds happens faster than in mammals. Yes, that's it for today. Good luck with learning biology, and I'll see you next time.